T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Can we talk for a minute? Come on and talk to me. I wanna know that. Come on and talk to me.
Come and talk to me. I really wanna meet you, girl. I really wanna know your name.
Maybe this will help.
Good sir, good sir. Ladies and gentlemen, my brother was here a few minutes ago, and he's not right now, but he'll be back, I'm sure. He might just be a little frozen. But until then, welcome to another episode of Maybe This Will Help, the podcast. Give you that relationship talk you can relate to, the good, the bad, the alimony. This is season 6, episode 14. Good to see you guys. I see you jumping in the chat. Ferg, what up? Good to see you. Hello, sister. Hello, McJellin. Yeah, we are here. Mike is behind the scenes, but he is here. Nah, Carrie will not be on today. Yeah, I can hear you, just can't see you.
That's crazy. All right.
Carrie will not be on today. Feliz Domingo de Palm. Guapos. Is that what you order when you go to the Mexican restaurant? What is that? Oh, is that Happy Palm Day? Is that the Domingo? What is that? Is that me? Am I a Domingo?
That is funny. That's funny.
I'm not a Domingo. I'm a Puerto Rican.
Domingo is Sunday. I know that. Domingo is Sunday.
I thought that was Sábado.
No, that's Saturday.
Yeah, the day before.
All right. Yep. I already could tell it was going down a rabbit hole, brother.
Listen, all I gotta say to you, sir, is cheers. Cheers. I got my cup. Mike is like he just finished doing the hot rocks. What's going on, bro? You sweating over there?
I am.
Well,
I moved back to the back, as you can see, and it wasn't as easy as I had hoped it had been. Give me a second.
You decided to do it a few minutes before the show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and get the show started. It's 8:07. We got off to a little bit of a late start, but guess what? We're going to be here for probably the full 2 hours tonight. So let me introduce, I see some new people in the chat. This is, me and Mike had a great way of describing this podcast. We were working on it this past weekend. So let me see if I can get what we wrote down. Okay, never mind. We got our target market, which is women who want to know how men think. That's our target market. We had a whole theme and everything else. We just didn't get a chance to write all that out yet, but we had to go back to the beginning of the show when our brother Kerry created this, and it was to give women a space to hear how men think when they're just talking to each other and when like deep honesty starts flowing out. And he had like he was very adamant about not having any women on the show because he wanted to create an opportunity for them to listen. Since then, I feel like that has happened. They've heard, they've listened, and now we have invited a few ladies on the show, and we're having some healthy dialogue, regardless of what the culture is saying. Like we are bringing healthy dialogue to the table, and it is helping. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you know somebody that needs help in this department, this might be the place. Shoot them a link, tell them to grab their favorite drink, their favorite snack, and let's chime in. I'm ready to get started, bro. Are you good to go?
Let's do it, man.
All right. You guys know usually we start off with just, a few minutes about our highlight of the week or what did we learn this week, and I think we're skipping that. And we're going to get right into it. You guys, sometimes you got to read the room, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
So
you
check
do.
it out. If you didn't know, we have the title of our show in the title box now. So tonight is called "Is It Cheating If?"
Interesting.
Is it cheating if? Now, the reason it's tonight's topic is because I've been seeing a lot of it's a trending thing on social media where a couple is getting on and saying, "Is it cheating if?" and creating these hypothetical scenarios, and they're going back and forth identifying, is it cheating if? And I think it's a great game or a great practice, because a lot of times cheating is such a fluid word and you don't really know, well, what is cheating, what is not cheating. I just looked at her. That's cheating in your heart. Like, it's good to know where your partner has drawn the line when it comes to being faithful.
It is.
And so the game is exposing a lot. And some of these couples, you can tell in real time, like, oh, this is their first time hearing this. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and jump into our first video of the night and get it started just like this. Be prepared.
Is it cheating if I go out with my girls and a guy buys me a drink?
No.
Oh, I'm surprised at that.
It's not cheating. It's unbecoming of a wife, but it's not cheating.
So I shouldn't do it.
You shouldn't do it.
Okay.
If I'm out with my guys and we let some ladies come into our section.
Cheating. It's not cheating because I know y'all don't want to be around just men all the time.
I'm not trying to slap knees with my friends all day.
But you have to tell them that you have a wife and not give them any energy. That's the only way it's not cheating.
Got it.
If a guy asks me for my number and I give him my Instagram.
No, it's not cheating because your Instagram is basically our couples page.
Literally. I have you all over my Instagram. I've actually done that before and guys are like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just going to piss them off.
right. Don't nobody want to tussle with you.
If I go out to lunch with a female friend solo.
Yes, definitely cheating. You should not be anywhere with a opposite sex friend without me. It's just, no, not
That's
happening.
why I don't have any female friends.
Exactly. If I'm out with my girlfriends and a guy asks for a dance.
Is it a line dance? Is it the Cupid shuffle? What kind of dance? Because I only know one way that you dance, and that's shaking that yansh you got back there.
Shaking a little bit, but I'm a little bit distant. You ain't going for that
I'm not
one.
going for that one.
Oh, okay.
I don't sit right in my spirit.
So that's cheating.
I think that's a little too far. If I walked in, I would definitely have to hit you upside the head with a foam roller or something. If a girl posts her Cash App for her birthday and I send her a couple $100.
Any cash being exchanged, baby, that's cheating. No money needs to be leaving this household without my knowledge.
I knew that was going to trigger me.
Yeah, no, that is not happening.
All right.
All right.
So before we even get started,
All
bro,
right.
is there any one of those that jumped out to you as that's a definite cheat?
So I want to read them all off first. Buying a drink. If a woman buys me a drink, or if a dude buys my woman a drink. Second was letting females into the section. You out with your boys and you let some females into your private section. Is that cheating? Next is giving out. The woman asks for my number, asks for your number. Instead of giving her the number, you give her the IG. Is that cheating? Lunch solo with a female friend. Dancing with a female when your woman is not around. And then Cash App. If a girl puts her Cash App up and the man sends her a couple $100, is that cheating? All right. Do I think that any of these are cheating? No.
Yes.
No.
How's that?
Well, let me preface it by cheating is whatever you and your partner agree is cheating. Y'all definition of cheating may not be like the next couple, may not be what society says, XYZ.
Fair enough.
So
But you said none of these are. So why is it not cheating for you?
so it's not cheating for me because I'm looking at it from the standpoint if a guy came up to Janae and bought her a drink and she came home, babe, we were out at the club and this guy came up and bought me a drink and I accepted it. I don't know. I just don't feel like what does she cheat at? Like what does she break the rules on? Like how does she disrespect me?
I like that. I think that we need
see
to
it.
I think we need to take some time to maybe just clarify a little bit what cheating could mean across the board. Everybody can have their own specific definitions of it, but across the board, foundationally, is there anything that we all agree upon that is cheating? I'm not talking about the act of cheating, but what is being cheated?
Right, and I think that's important to get down to the nitty-gritty of what that is for some people. Some people, it's been said, you know what I mean, if you do something that you wouldn't do if I was standing right there in front of you, then that's cheating.
Okay.
That used to be my thing. I think that now I've just realized that human beings are human beings, bro. And my woman is not necessarily my property. You know what I'm saying? So, again, outside like what we've discussed as cheating and what we've come up with as cheating for us, if it's anything outside of that, then everything else is fair game. And at the end of the day, I have to trust that because she accepted this drink, don't mean she going home with the nigga. Don't mean that they was in the club in the corner, you know what I mean, doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing.
So
You know
I'm
what
gonna say it like this, right? On this show, we like to get down to the brass tacks before we get off to the nuances.
Right.
What has cheating always meant, no matter what room you're in, romantic, business, school, at a game? So cheating is an act of using dishonest methods, trickery, or deception to gain an unfair advantage or to break established rules, commonly in games, academics, or relationships. And so if we look at this from a relationship standpoint, it's a violation of trust or agreement for
Right.
personal gain. So that's the
Yeah.
part that we need to focus on. It's a violation of trust or agreement for personal gain, such as breaking monogamy rules or manipulating situations. So when we think about, hey, if you do this, this is cheating. We're saying if you do this, this is violating trust. This is violating an agreement that we made, which is kind of what you're talking about. We came to this agreement. This is your way of trying to get an unfair advantage
For sure.
in this situation.
For sure.
So with that lens, I want to look at some of these things that they said were cheating, and let's have a discussion about it. So
Let's do it.
is it cheating? Because I'll tell you, let me start off with the one that I had an issue with.
Okay.
If a guy asks her to dance,
Okay.
coming from a former exotic dancer who's still trying to make his dancing in public more civilized,
Not working, by the way. You were at my wedding, brother. I saw you. Oh, okay. Right. Continue.
That was a year ago. That was a whole year ago.
All right.
My point is, like, I know dancing can get very intimate and physical. And so for me, it's like, I don't want another guy rubbing up on my wife like that.
Yeah.
But just because I don't want that, does that mean she's cheating? Is cheating anything I dislike?
There we go.
Or is cheating, going back to the definition, you violating a form of trust? Or, you know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, I do. I like what you said. I may not like it, but at the same time, if it does happen, I have to trust that my wife is going to draw the line where it needs to be drawn. I can't put her in this bubble. Like, it was some movie. It was some movie that it may have been The Mummy, but it was some movie where the king, he was a pharaoh. The pharaoh, you couldn't touch his wife at all. And if you did, you got murdered. Even if she was falling, you can't catch this woman in order, you know what I mean? You can't touch her at all. To me, you can't put your woman in a bubble, especially if she's an attractive woman. Like, she's gonna get approached, she's gonna get talked to, whether she has a ring on or not. Like, these are things that are inevitably gonna happen. And I feel like if you start trying to put her in a bubble, create all of these rules, create all of these things for her not to do, don't do this, don't do that, it's eventually she's gonna feel trapped. Like,
unless she wants to be in a bubble.
Unless she wants to be in a bubble, for sure.
So let's deal with this idea that I'm asking my partner, is it cheating if? And I have another video I'm gonna play, and they went to this side of the conversation that I'm more or less leaning to, where it's not really cheating, but it's a bad look, or it's not becoming of a wife. Like he said, I'm wondering, instead of worried about is this cheating or not, should I spend more energy identifying why I'm so up in my feelings about it?
Yes.
Because if I don't take time to identify why I'm so up in my feelings about this act, and I can't really prove in our agreement that it's a violation of trust or it's cheating, then that means I'm putting all this responsibility on you as my partner to make sure I always feel secure. And I don't think it's wise to make that 100% your partner's job.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. So like you said, you need to get down to the brass tacks of why is it my own insecurity? Is it something happened in my past relationship where it's just become a red flag for me whenever I see it? You know what I mean? But I don't think just creating these rules just because is a wise idea.
And it don't even have to be an insecurity. It could just simply be we haven't had a conversation. I just don't have the details. And I think that sometimes again, we're quick to say, oh, that's trauma, or you're trauma dumping, or I've been traumatized, or that's just an insecurity, or you're intimidated by X, Y, and Z. A lot of times it's none of those things. It's just the fact that people don't have clarity of the details associated with whatever the situation is. If you break it down to them, you guys have a conversation like, oh, that's what you mean by that. A lot of times it's not insecurity, it's a misinterpretation.
Facts.
I didn't understand how you meant it before you went off and got mad at me for saying no. Let's explain a little bit.
Agreed.
No, Ray said just dirty dancing. For sure. For sure. Now, this is interesting because I have a friend who goes to Carnival. And she grew up.
Explain to people what Carnival is, brother. You can't just say
it's just
she's not going to a carnival. This is Carnival.
Carnival. Right? It's a celebration. It's a celebration of dance and culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think she grew up since the time growing up in Trinidad. And if anybody knows like Trinidadians and just the way that they move with this kind of love and what a more conservative Western culture will call an eroticism.
Okay.
We'll look at that and be like, oh no, man, this is wild. My girl could never go to Carnival. My dude could never go there. And I got some Trinidadian friends from Barbados. And when they go to these celebrations, it's just so much fun and energetic. And my friend was explaining to me how from children, they're ingrained into this culture, and it's just dancing and celebration. You could take your dude with you and he could dance on you the same way he dancing on your homegirl. And everybody can just get a little bit of this joy and hips, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody has this understanding who's of the culture that is not like that. It's not sexual. It's not intended to be erotic. And I think we were having like a raw conversation. Under no reason should I have an erection while we're doing this. Because I'm not thinking that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for people who are not of that culture, it's hard for them to even imagine rubbing up against something and it not be sexual. It's not intended to be that. So yeah, man, I just think that part of the conversation we have around with our partners around what's cheating and what's a violation is that we just don't really understand the culture sometimes that our partner comes from.
That's good. That's good. And that's a lens I feel like I don't know if I ever looked at it like that, because I've dated outside of my race a couple times, and you are absolutely right. Sometimes they've just grown up doing a certain thing. Sometimes they've grown up, you know what I mean? Me and Janae were talking about this the other day. Like, what age is it appropriate for you to start putting on clothes around your kids? Well, I know in some backgrounds, in some
Mm.
they don't put on clothes around their kids for a long time, as opposed to us here in the United States. It may be looked at as weird, walking around in your drawers or walking around with no clothes on at all or no bra or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So I feel like if you are gonna, venture out in the dating arena with somebody that's outside of your culture, outside of your norm, outside of your race, outside of your religion, whatever the case may be, it's important to get some background about how they do life instead of just
Man,
expecting them to do life the way you do it.
that's so solid, bro. I gotta
Yeah.
quit that. That's so solid. So let's chime into this, because I know that from a Christian background, a Christian lens, a Christian perspective, even that, what I'm saying, with some of my friends who are from the islands and are Christians, is still not an understanding. And before I go too deep into that conversation, even some denominations don't really approve of how other denominations praise God.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Or how the women are allowed to dress, or how the men dress. You know what I'm saying to you? So there's some cultural dynamics or cultural wars happening even within religions, because certain sects don't believe in, how they do stuff. But
Right.
so check this out. It's Nat, bro, said the Bible tells us to gouge out our ear if it leads us astray. I'm not sure if I heard that one, but I know what is the one about your eye? Pluck out
your eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
understand that some of these things, if they're not for you, I think that's what you're saying, Mike. Have a conversation and say, hey,
Yeah.
I like you, but that right there doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for my faith. It doesn't work for my relationship with God. It doesn't work for, what I'm saying? This is not something I would teach my children to do. And sometimes that has to be your deal breaker in a relationship. Nobody has to be a villain.
Right, exactly.
It's just a difference.
Exactly. Let me ask you this now, and I don't want to stray away too much from the topic, but now that we have so much social media presence, do you feel like it's easier before I even reach out, before I even shoot my shot, I could just go on this woman's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, and kind of see the kind of stuff she's into, how she's dressed, and how she's doing life a little bit, and kind of see if it's even worth reaching out. Yeah, she's fine. Yeah, she's my type, but I see she's always out at the club every single weekend, and she's shaking ass and smoking and doing all the things that you may not like.
Yeah.
So, or are we thinking that it's just social media? I'm gonna shoot my shot anyway, and maybe things are different.
I think for me, I don't really trust that social media is painting an honest or a complete picture of people. I think sometimes, because you can monetize social media, I immediately think that a lot of it is curated to bring in income. I know too many women who post a certain way on social media whose lives are just not like that, but it does bring in the looks and the follows, which can convert into currency.
I agree.
I think that if you see anything on anybody's page that makes you wonder, then ask a question.
That's solid.
Have a conversation. Hey,
Solid,
I saw you, you know what I'm saying, at the club, and like you was smoking. Like, is that something you do on a regular? Was that weed in there? Like, is that something like you get into? You know what? I think somebody said it on my Instagram right here. His love conquers all said, and how incredible it is to learn another culture without judgment, but from a place of understanding and respect.
Yeah, solid.
And if it doesn't work, it doesn't everything. If it doesn't work, it doesn't. Everything is an experience. And I think that when we look at it from that standpoint of, instead of whenever we disagree, I gotta disrespect you. Whenever we disagree, it gotta be a war. If you ain't doing things the way that I'm telling you that they're supposed to be, then outstanding. Like you're wrong and you're in violation.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right, let's get back to some of these things. I'm curious as to what your take is on them. So you said the only one for you that you saw may be an issue is the guy dancing up on your girls behind at the club. All right, so
like I just, when I think about it, man, and I tell you, if my girl tell me like, oh, these guys just dancing up on me at the club,
how many of them was it?
A whole bunch of them. It was 17 niggas.
Golly.
No, but for real though. So if she's asking me, is that cheating? Here's where I believe manipulation comes into play. Because I know my wife wants to do right by me,
Mm-hmm.
I can say, yes, babe, that's cheating. And she'll be like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do that no more. And the manipulation of that is I feel some type of way about it, but technically you didn't violate any trust. You didn't violate our marriage agreement. You didn't overstep into anything that could really damage our marriage. My imagination is, though.
Oh, come on, bro.
And I think that is my responsibility. And if you've ever caught yourself trying to make your partner feel some type of way about something because you felt some type of way about something, you got to ask yourself, like, is that right? Is that manipulation? Like, what am I doing here? You know what I'm saying to you? So don't be an opportunist like that and say, yes, it's cheating just because you don't like it. And then and now your partner has, I don't want to say eggshells, but it's more parameters than are necessary. Because the last place you don't want to feel free within reason is your marriage.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts. Okay, so next, a guy buying your woman a drink. Any harm in that? I said no.
That's not the question. The question is it cheating?
Is it cheating? Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's be specific. You're right. Is that cheating? A guy buys your woman a drink.
No.
Whether it's no. Okay. You out, me, you, Carrie, we all out celebrating. We got our own section at the whatever venue that we're at. And
why in the world would that ever happen? But I'm with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we know, but for the sake of the show,
all right,
5 guys out having a good time, and one of the guys invites some girls to come over. Hey, we got drinks over here. Come over here, have some fun. And so now there are girls in the section with you and your boys. Or vice versa, or your girl. Let's use the girl. Your girl. So it's guys. So you FaceTime her, and she's in her little section that she said she told you she's going out with her girls. We got a section. I'm gonna just be with the girls tonight. You FaceTime her, and then you see guys in the background of the section that they're in.
Yeah.
Is that cheating?
No, bro. Where is it cheating?
Would it raise any suspicion because of what you were told initially?
Yes. It would raise suspicion because I don't believe I made the right choice. That's the only reason suspicion could get in if I'm still questioning if I chose the right person.
I like that.
If I'm still questioning if this was a woman I needed to marry, I think that's one of the greatest pathways for suspicion to get in, because you're still not sure if you made a wise decision.
That's solid. I like that. I like
Yeah.
that.
Now, if she has a history of stepping out and lying and all that, and it's a pattern, then then suspicion is warranted. But outside of that, a lot of people just are with people they don't trust.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Your woman giving a guy her Instagram instead of her phone number. He comes up to her. He doesn't know she's in a relationship. He's, smooth talking to her. He says, "Hey, can I get your number?" She says, "No, I can't give you my number, but you can have my Instagram."
Where you at?
I think my question, so this one, I think I would have to communicate something, because this one I would need a little bit of clarity. And I think the clarity that I need was, why did you feel a need to keep in touch with this person? Why did you feel a need to keep that connection? Because that's what it is. It's some form of a connection, or else why give it to him?
Gotcha. I think for me, it immediately went to, what do you use Instagram for? Because for a lot of people, Instagram is just like a phone number, the way they respond to DMs. I might be able to get in contact with you faster through your DM than I am through a text message. So it all depends on what is the reason. What do you use your Instagram for? But I like what you said. You know what I'm saying? So you gave them your Instagram for what?
Yeah.
Was that your escape for just because you didn't want to have a conflict and say no? Hey, he was hell of aggressive and he was really pushy, and I didn't want to put myself in a situation, so I just gave my Instagram just so I can get out of there. But as soon as he sent me the friend request, I blocked it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. And even then, bro, I can't see it being a interrogation type of conversation. You know what I'm saying? I still feel like even that is nothing to get upset about or in your feelings about or super worked up about. It's just a simple asking a question. Having a little bit of communication could go a long way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, how much money are you sending this girl on her birthday? Via Cash App, Zelle, Apple Pay, or how much money are you okay with your woman sending a friend, maybe even a friend you've never seen, heard of, or nothing, but she sends him $400 for his birthday?
Well, my wife, the Donnells, will be a generous people.
Come on, brother, say that.
But we
Oh,
are also people who communicate.
there it
We
is.
we steward healthy relationships
Yeah.
through communication. It's not my money, it's not her money, it's ours. And so I would have less of a problem with her giving the money to the dude and more of a problem with where was the communication.
I can see that.
Not permission,
Yeah.
communication. What about you?
For me, I think a little bit differently because I do have my own money. She has her own money, and then we have our money. So, for instance, even like with you guys, even like sometimes I send everybody $25 for lunch. That's including Pookie. That's a
When was
female.
the last time you did that? Because
When's the last time you deserved it?
I'm losing weight over here. Well, last time I deserved it. Wow.
We were just out yesterday. How you losing weight? I saw what you ate.
I didn't finish it. Finish your story.
Oh, you're right. Damn. All right. But so my point is, I don't necessarily tell Janae every time I send anybody money, whether it's male, female, my mama, my daddy. If I'm not pulling from the household money or if I'm not pulling from our joint account, I don't necessarily see a reason to let her know when I'm sending someone money. Unless it's, hey, babe, it's such and such's birthday today. Did you want to get in on this? Did you want to pull from the joint account? Did you want to add $25 to what I'm sending? You know, or something like that.
That's
But off the
interesting.
rip,
That's
and I
good.
wouldn't necessarily expect her to.
So check this out. So
Yeah.
one of my friends said giving the Instagram still seems sort of sneaky because it doesn't look bad because it's social media versus a phone number, but it's still a way of staying in contact unless it's strictly business account. So kind of going back to what you were saying, that's staying in contact. I think that access is something that you need to protect.
Yeah.
When it comes to your relationship, I think the first line of defense or the first priority is to protect the access that other people have to you and your partner, because it's between you guys, and any form of influence is going to show up in the marriage. And I think that's something that a lot of couples could benefit from prioritizing as a place of protection, just access. And
Yeah.
that means family as well. How much access do your parents have, your siblings have to you? Because now we're one.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
man.
And at the end of the day, nobody should have more access to you than your spouse. In my humble opinion.
More access. I'm thinking just in general. Some people, it was nice knowing you.
Yeah, there's definitely those. It was nice knowing you, and that's on the male and the female side. I've had to relinquish relationships from homeboys and homegirls.
And I think that sometimes we on the other side of it, right, who are not married yet, and you being married, we have to understand how much of life changes for our friends and our brothers when they get married. Like life is very different for them. Priorities have to change. For me to want to hold the same position in your life that I held prior to marriage is very selfish of me. It is a calling. It is something that that requires you to not just die to self, but to move in a new way of stewardship.
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I'm saying to you? So I think that a lot of times, a lot of friends have not checked in with themselves and asked, like, am I ready for my friend to be married?
It's
like,
so funny.
Be for real married.
That's so funny you said that, because before I got married, for those that don't know, before I got married, Donovan just knew that I was always gonna be busy. I wasn't gonna have no time to do nothing. We weren't really going, you know, and it's so crazy. I feel like we hang out more and we see each other more now that I am married. Almost too much, in my opinion.
You'll be all right. So the way I felt about it was that I was ready for you to be, because I'm a lover of marriage in general.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I love to see people find their person, lock it in, and prioritize one another till death do them part.
Yeah.
So on the outside of that, looking at you getting married, my whole thing was like, I wanted to make sure you knew that I was totally on board with whatever priority adjustments you needed to make. However much time I got, if it was once a month, I was going to make sure that I added value to you and your marriage in that time, in our brotherhood, and then until we meet again, right? That's how much I support the idea of marriage, let alone my brother getting married. And I think that that's something that a lot of people aren't considering or even embracing, the fact that your access needs to change so that their marriage can prosper.
I agree. And that's great that you're that type of guy and that type of brother. I am not that type of brother. I'll be at the house the day after the wedding, hanging out, doing what brothers do, for sure.
With who though?
You and your wife.
We will be behind locked doors, and if you can,
I got a key.
If you can handle the noise, my nigga, just stick around.
All right.
You thought Luda had disturbing the peace? What?
Jesus.
I'm just saying.
Golly, God bless you, brother.
Over there on Instagram.
No, let's go.
All right, so his love conquers all. I'm so on board with a lot of what you're saying. That's real. Access, freestyle, honesty, freedom. Honesty is effortless. To deceive takes a lot of energy, man. For real. What we got in the chat over here? Allie, you stupid. So let's follow this up with another couple. You ready?
Let's do it.
Is it cheating if I'm at a restaurant and the girl say, hey, can you take some pictures of me? And I take 20, 30 pictures of her.
I go out for drinks alone with one of my guy friends.
Of course it is.
If a guy asks me for my number and I give him my Instagram.
Hold on. I don't think that's the right one.
Oh, okay. I was taking that.
Because that one should not have the glitches in it. Hold on. There is there's supposed to be a clean copy of just them two together. Let me make sure that one actually uploaded.
All right.
Let's see. I can find it. If not, I can add it. Is this it?
Feel like I'm on
Yeah. Talk to the people.
Nope.
Mike just never wants to participate. See. Is this it?
Let's look at some comments. Oh, Ali is funny.
Who did we just watch? Was it it was the other couple. It wasn't Sarah and her dude, right?
Okay. Don't know who Sarah is.
All right.
Sounds delightful.
Mike, that's fine. What's in your cup tonight? All right, so check it out. Let me drop this one in here real quick. Oh, still downloading. All right, so while that is uploading, you see any comments over there?
Yeah. Amber said it's not cheating, but it's not respectful.
Which one?
Not sure, but with any of them, I think you know what I think is respectful and I think it's dope. I think if my wife does go out and a guy buys her a drink, or my wife does go out and she dances with a guy, if she comes home and says, babe, let me tell you about my evening. This guy came up to me, he bought me a drink, or this guy came up, he asked for my number, I just gave him my Instagram. That to me is respectful. I don't think it's necessarily disrespectful, though, anything that was said, especially if it's something that we have not discussed. But I think that I can respect, and I think I would feel respected if she came home and just divulged certain information. Janae does it all the time. Babe, I was in line, and this old guy tried to come up to me and holler at me, and we laugh and we talk about it, and it's fine. You know what I mean? But I feel like if you don't have that type of communication and you don't have that type of freedom in your relationship to talk freely like that, I feel like that's a bigger issue than a nigga buying your girl a drink.
So after this next video, we should spend some time talking about if you find yourself in a scenario that when you know your partner's going to have an issue with, what would make you feel uncomfortable about bringing that to their attention. So check this out.
Is it cheating if
I'm at a restaurant and a girl say, hey, can you take some pictures of me? And I take 20, 30 pictures of her.
I go out for drinks alone with one of my guy friends?
Of course it is.
If a guy asks me for my number and I give him my Instagram, and a guy
All right, so there was a video because clearly it's not the right one is not downloading. There's a video that I put up, and it's another couple doing the same thing, and they were kind of working through it. Now their answers were a little different. For them, a lot of the things were not cheating. A lot of the things were it's frowned upon. That's not a good look. And so as I'm having these conversations, I wanted to put both of these videos up just to kind of compare and contrast that across the board, everybody doesn't feel the same way about what's cheating. And so just to give people maybe an opportunity in their relationship to say, hey, let's define cheating for ourselves.
That's what it is. That's what it is. You said something that sparked curiosity. You said that it was frowned upon.
Yeah.
And then that made me think of frowned upon by who? Are you tripping because your homegirls saw me get a drink? So now that makes you feel some kind of way? Are you tripping because the people at the office just happen to see me, you know what I mean, at a club or something with my homeboys and it was girls in the section? Somebody at the office came to you and said something to you? Is that why you tripping?
And I think that a lot of times when we think about what's frowned upon, people don't want to get into a relationship to get embarrassed.
Embarrassed.
They don't want to be made to look like a fool. I think that certain people like myself who have an interesting taste. Like sometimes people don't think that I would be with or trying to holler at who I'm trying to holler at, but I like people for different reasons. So sometimes you can be secure in your choice, but still have a little bit of apprehension around helping other people to understand why you chose them.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like they got to be on your best behavior so people can understand about you what I understand about you. And I think that that's something a lot of people don't address, but that's why they may put so many rules on their partner, because they really want it to be a better reflection of them. Think about parents with children. Don't get out here and make me look a certain way. You're going to behave in this store. You don't touch nothing. You don't want nothing. Some people are in relationships or marriages with their partners saying the same thing. You don't talk to nobody. Don't nobody need to talk to you. Nobody needs no access. You don't need to be dancing with nobody because that's a reflection of me. And so in that, again, I feel like that's an internal situation that you're trying to project onto your partner to manage when it's really yours to manage. Like, if you had these concerns about this person making you look this way in public, then why did you choose them?
Well, clip that. Damn. And as you're saying all those things, I'm thinking in my head, well, then why are you with the person?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that didn't change into this person that you got all these issues with overnight. I'm sure when y'all first started dating, you probably met her when she was out, or you probably met him when he was out. So now that she still want to go out, now.
So let me say this though. How do people find themselves in that situation? Pressure. I think that men and women sometimes are pressured by their girlfriend, boyfriend, or the person that they're dating to get married before they feel the confidence within themselves, right? We talked about in this podcast plenty of times where somebody, the man or the woman, will present an ultimatum. Like, we've been together. We've been talking for 6 months. What are we doing? We've been dating for 3 years. What are we doing? And they're ready because they've reached this place of I'm here. And I know my yes is my yes. And if you don't know yet, then we need to separate. Or we need to go ahead and move this forward. And the reason I feel like that's so, it can be a form of sabotage, because you were allowed the amount of time you needed to figure out you wanted this person without pressure associated with it. And now that person may not be where you are, you're going to change the whole dynamic up just because they're not where you are by the time you got there.
Right.
And so what happens is that you have a person that's sure and a person that's not sure at the altar saying I do. And at some point that has to be resolved. I'm not saying that person is not sure, can't become sure in the process, but sometimes their lack of surety shows up in how they engage with you in this brand new marriage. They still have questions, they still have demands, they still have X, Y, and Z because they weren't sure.
So is it your job as the husband, or is it her job as the wife to cater to that unsurety? Or is that one of the things where like, hey, I'm sure about this. When we said these vows, you sounded sure. So now that you're coming to me with all of this, oh, I don't know. Is that my job to cater to that?
It's not a job to cater to it. But I think that every single person wants to know that their partner is sure about them. And I think that you have to ask yourself, am I sure that this person is sure about me? And care about that more than just wanting to get married because you're sure. I think that's the twist. Because I personally don't want nobody to marry me as a favor or as a gift to me. Like, okay, here's what I know that you want. I would love to wait until it's what we both want.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying to you? And I think that me and you have had this conversation. Sometimes it's happened to me and it's happened to other men that I know, that you will be on this path with this young lady and, you know, have an engagement ring and an uncle will pull you to the side and say one question. Are you sure? And in the safest of rooms with trusted ears, you'll look at him and be like, Unc, I just think it's the right thing to do.
Oh, yeah. Say that.
And I promise you, your marriage is going to look very different if you got into it because you were sure versus you just felt like it was the right thing to do. It may not always look different. They can eventually meet. But what I'm saying is that initially they're going to look stark different because the dynamic is going to, in many ways, subconsciously, is going to reflect somebody who's just trying to make sure that they show up for this person in the way that they need. But that deficit or that unsurety is inside of you that won't allow your partner full access to you. It's going to show up in communication. It's going to show up in your day-to-day routine. It's going to show up in a lot of different areas, and it's going to be felt. So you can have a conversation before marriage or after, but the conversation is going to have to happen.
It's going to have to happen, and it'll be easier to happen before.
That's a rough one as well, though, bro. Because what does it look like when someone says, "Yeah, I'm sure I want to marry you," and you're like, "I'm not there yet."
Well, if you guys have been practicing communication, you guys have been practicing listening, then it won't look like anything negative, because if you're hearing what I'm saying, I'm not saying I don't want to be with you. I'm not saying the relationship is over. I'm not saying I don't know if I want to marry. I'm just saying I'm not sure what I want to do at this given moment. Who knows? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. It may come to me. I may feel it. But so many people.
If I'm allowed the same space you were allowed to have the time to figure it out.
For sure. It has to be a two-way street, bro. It can't be a one-way
But can you in your full yes, in your full feelings, in your full sure, yes, this is my person, wait for that person to figure out if you're there? Yes.
For sure. If I feel like if I'm feeling full blown conviction, full blown like the Lord has come down and tell me this, as long as it takes.
Because where you going?
Not a damn place.
If this is the part that gets me, man. And you know what I'm saying? I've had this conversation with a few people before. If you're in this space where you know you like somebody and they're not in that space where they like you back, and this is like early on, like wanting the date phase. Yeah. Do you say, all right, cool, I'm just going to go off and date other people? Or do you say, I like you and I'm just going to continue to get to know you because this is just where my heart is. And I'll give myself 3-6 months, you know what I'm saying, to you, just so we can see if this is something you come around to. And then I can make a decision like, okay, well, I really do like you. I wish this could have worked and we're going to do something different.
Man, I've lingered for longer than that. I call it lingering. I'll linger for longer than that, brother. Like if I'm just set on this person, I'm like, man, this person have something that I ain't seen before, that I know is rare, that I know I'm not gonna find just going out there dating all these other women. Shit,
bro.
you need a
That's what I'm.
friend? I'll be a friend. Cool. But
And
what
that's
I am gonna do is be around though.
and that's what I'm saying, bro. I think that for me, it's rare to find somebody I like, and so if I find somebody I like and they not where I'm at,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna force myself and pretend that I'm going anywhere,
yeah,
because that's a disservice to the other people I'm going on a date
yeah,
with.
yeah. It is. It
Out
is.
here acting like I'm single because I am single, but I know my heart is somewhere. I remember one time this girl asked me if I was single. I told her yes, but I'm waiting on somebody. I told another girl yes, but my heart is set on somebody.
That's solid.
It was honest, bro.
That's what makes it solid. Because most guys, even most girls, are just I'm single, I can do whatever I want. Yeah, but if that man call and say come over, you over there immediately. So why even play? Why
Because
play?
see, we don't want other people to play with us, but we play with ourselves. Acting like I would not prefer to be at home waiting by the phone versus out on this date, because that makes me look some type of way. When I sit in these conferences and these workshops and I hear about how some people got married, some of the most interesting stories unfolded because people didn't walk in pride. They were like, nigga, this is my lot to carry. I am in love with someone, or I'm into someone that doesn't feel it back, and I just got to be honest with myself and with the situation and say, hey, I want to wait right now. Now, eventually you may get to a place where you don't want that anymore. But if you're lying to yourself about it and you're trying to go out into this world and give other people access and engage with other people, and then you talk about that the dating pool has piss in it, it's partly because of you, because you're not even out there for that. You know that your mind and your heart is occupied by somebody that you can't have right now, but it's still occupied. So what are you doing?
Yeah, you peed a little bit in that dating pool, just a little bit.
You peed a
It
little
ran
bit.
down that leg. It ran down that leg. Yeah.
This is wild.
Yeah. And then you tried to swim and make waves so it wouldn't look like that.
But the pool turned blue, and then everybody knew it was you.
For sure.
Yeah, man. What we got in the chat over here? Noah's I want to call him Noah tonight. Ray said Mike's right. Many people trip because of public embarrassment. And I think that's where this conversation started to branch off. It is a form of public embarrassment that we can be worried about. But honestly, I think if you married, man, the only people's opinions I'm really worried about or concerned about is my wife, God, and my children.
Boom. That's it, bro. That's it.
How am I doing as a husband and as a father and as a son?
That's it. You think I'm gonna go out on a limb. Hopefully I have dinner after the show. But you think that I didn't hear about when I got with Janae, she was 200 something pounds. You think I didn't hear people talking about that's not usually what you go for, and Mike got a big, wasn't bothered a little bit. The same way I'm not bothered now that she lost all that weight. Like,
man,
I feel like if you take into consideration people's opinions and those people don't even matter, then that makes you a sucker. Like what? Yeah, it's wild, bro.
And I love that we get to have these conversations, because I feel like they're gonna set somebody free. It don't listen, man. Where you lay the lap you lay your head in, man. That's where you put your concern.
Don't miss out on your person because of what other people saying.
Because you can do better. You don't. Oh God, don't, man. You know that's a sensitive topic for me, man. Exactly. I'm just like, man, if you only knew the reason why someone would say this is my person. You don't really know what someone's really looking for. You think that it's all these aesthetics on the outside, but
come on, man,
there's sometimes this dynamic that only could have been created by God. There's this environment that they possess, right? And of course, you got to date and give it time, because that could be a facade.
Right.
Even if it feels good in the moment, it could still be a facade. But when you find that thing that you and your soul identified as rare, you may need to lock in.
Boy, listen. Yes, sir.
All right, so I think I got a good video for us to move into the next conversation about if we're sitting there talking about, you know what I'm saying, just how you create the definition of cheating in your marriage and why someone chooses who they choose, and if you're not sure about the person you're choosing, how it's going to show up when you're concerned about public embarrassment. I want to stay in that lane of choosing who we choose and why we choose. And I know that we talk about being chosen a lot on this show. And I know that I was having a conversation with my friend the other day about like who's really calling the shots out here, because all the man can do is propose. The woman has to say yes. We initiate it, but at the end of the day, ain't no marriage or relationship happening unless in Western culture. Unless she says yes, right?
Yep.
So check this video out.
Am I your husband because you wanted me to be your husband, or because you wanted a husband?
You're my husband because my dying mother asked you to marry me before she died.
So you're saying I was forced into this?
We were both forced into this. This was arranged marriage.
Is that actually how you feel?
I'm not mad about it. It's turned out pretty great.
Wait, but I had a choice. Did you feel forced?
Oh, you didn't feel forced?
Help me! No, oh my god, wait, what?
You didn't think this was arranged?
You actually think this was arranged?
Who else would have taken me, you know?
Let's have this conversation, bruh.
That's a fun conversation right there.
Okay, but a lot of people would have been offended. So would you have been offended if you were having this conversation with Janae and you found out that she felt forced to marry you because she didn't think anybody else would take her, but she said it turned out pretty great?
No, because it turned out pretty great. Why do I care about how it started? Where are we at right now?
So let's have that conversation, because it would trigger or tick off a lot of people to know that I didn't marry you because I wanted to marry you. I married you because I wanted to get married. And at that time that I wanted to get married, you were there.
Yeah, nah, that's some people's like legit reality, bro. So reasons why I think it wouldn't be triggering is hopefully, like, again, I hate to beat a dead horse, but hopefully, like, you guys have been communicating, like, to find that out, like, and you guys are already married, and she said it turned out great, so I'm assuming they've been married for some extended period of time, but to just now be finding that out is crazy. How do we not talk about this before now?
It's wild, but what am I going to make it mean?
Exactly, because I can see how some people can flip that and be angry, and I don't know if I want to keep doing this because I thought that okay, but I'm like, am head over heels in love with you now. Give you my dying breath now. Like I get it may have sucked. So I understand a little bit of that stung a little bit. I get that.
Can we stay there, talk about why would that sting?
I think that it would sting simply because I have a whole different picture of the reasons that we got married. I'm thinking you were in love with me, I was in love with you, and now, I've created this fantasy. It was so perfect. Everything was the wedding, the friends, the family, and now knowing that you were like, help me, you know what I mean? Feeling like in distress about marrying me.
I would go one further. I would say, I think the reason I think it bothers most people is because they had an inflated opinion about themselves.
Damn.
They thought they was the man.
Yikes.
They thought, oh yeah, she into me, man. Her clock was ticking. You were a safe choice. And she was ready to get married. Her situation was in order, or vice versa. He finally got his finances in place. Some of the responsibilities he was handling are all solidified. He got the career that he wants. And he's like, man, I'm ready to have some children. the nicest and most fertile woman in his proximity got chosen. And while you're trying to present all these other things about yourself and these aesthetics and stuff like that, his reason for marrying you wasn't probably what you were trying to put out there as your best trait. And I think that's the part that some of us have to sit with, that I think that when we start dating, we're trying to, like, hey, not put on what do they call it, the representative, but say, hey, here's some of the best things about me. But you don't know what they're actually looking for. And so I think that some people actually get butthurt because you didn't choose me for the reason I wanted you to choose me.
Mm.
And it's like, but I chose you. Like,
that's really interesting, because all of those things you've named are usually reasons why people get married anyway. You know what I'm saying? Stability, financial stability, emotional maturity, all of those things are reasons anyway. So now you got me rethinking if that was thing at all. Like, even if I am the safe choice, usually people get into relationships and get married because they feel safe in the relationship. So why is any of those things bad things?
But she said she felt like it was arranged.
I told him to.
and if the grandma saw something and said, please marry my granddaughter, and he did it because it was her dying wish, you still married. But I think a lot of times it's not the fact that we are in a healthy or happy marriage. I think some people, that's why people after 30 years are getting divorced, because there's a form, and I want to go on the edge and say this, for some people, there's a form of worship I thought would come towards me if I was married. There's a form of submission, or what hurt as a form of care that I thought I would be idolized in a certain way if I got married. And I think that when that doesn't show up for certain people because that was a subconscious reason for wanting to be married, and we can have this discussion. You know what I'm saying?
Because because go ahead.
I would say I have friends who've talked to me about, like, when I get married, I'm not working. Not working. I don't want to work. I'm gonna be a stay-at-home wife. Right? For some men, that's exactly what they want. But for some, they want a different kind of partnership, right? For some, like, when I get married, I'm never cooking again, and I'm not doing diapers. You know what I'm saying to you? And so there's certain perks to marriage that certain people are expecting to receive, that if they don't receive it, they're wondering, why did I get married?
Damn. So you're saying, so if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that there's men and there's women out there that are strictly getting married for perks alone. Meaning, if I lined up, okay,
I'm saying it's a subconscious requirement. They may not really even realize it until they're in it, and it's a deficit.
Got you. Okay.
You know what I'm saying to you? And so that's kind of how I'm looking at it through that lens for certain people. Because, like, you got everything, but this is what I'm missing here, and I thought that in marriage it would be different. And I think that that's why I like premarital counseling, because it does dig up some of those subconscious desires that you have not acknowledged or given voice to.
Yep.
I've been through it twice, and I think I was surprised, and my person I was with at the time was surprised to hear some of these things come out of my mouth, because they were in my heart, but we just needed the right question to dig it out.
Solid.
But ultimately, we're going back to the reason of why did you get married? So would you have felt any type of way if Janae married you, not because she was in love with you, just because it's a solid dude and it's around that time and I need to make this happen?
So it's difficult to answer, and it's difficult to answer because I don't think we would have gotten that far if had I known that. And I think that we probably would have had conversation before the I do. And if that's how she felt, we wouldn't have got married.
Why?
Because that's not what I want. I want somebody that marries me for me, not what I can do for them. Because that sounds like I'm going to work. I get a paycheck for what I can do for the company. And that's not how I want to run my marriage, or that's not the type of marriage.
Why not? Though? What if it could come later?
Because I'm not looking for, as far as marriage, I wasn't looking for anything transactional. I do this for you in return for you do this for me. That sounds like prostitution. And I wasn't really looking to get back into that field.
Your wife will say different. So here's what I'm saying. She said you her hoe every night. Here's kind of what I'm saying. Like I think more people need to sit down and wrestle with one of their reasons for wanting to get married is relief. They want a form of relief. Now, relief can look different for different people, but they don't want it transactional. They don't want it based on just performance or what they can do. Some men are just looking for a place to lay their head, and some women are just looking for a place to take off some responsibility. And I don't think there's anything wrong with either of them, but communicate that.
I agree 1,000%. 1,000%. Cause now, yeah, bro. I like that. I think that because I was just thinking, like, when I was like single and it was just me and Denim, I was well off financially. I didn't. So it's not like I was looking to get married because, finances are rough. But if I'm being honest, I wanted Denim to have a positive female role model in his life. So I think some of the underlying, reasons of marriage was that. And Janae fit all of the bills for that. And then, you're thinking about what type of wife would she make? What type of mother would she make? So that she did check off certain boxes before there was a I love you or I'm in love with you or a thought of marriage.
The bottom line is that I would marry you even if I don't love you because I can see the benefit you could bring to my life. Now, here's the truth of it. Love me and appreciate all these benefits I bring, but marry me because you find me attractive. And you know why that's such a big deal for some people? Because they believe that the more attractive you find me, the less likely you are to cheat.
That's so untrue. That's the furthest thing from the truth.
But it's a lot of people's reasoning why they spend 3 hours trying to find the right suit, tie, and shoes to wear on the date, and the women doing the makeup and hair. Because I need you to first think that I am attracted. I need you to be smitten by me visually, because that's going to help me be more secure. The more I see you're just drooling over me, for certain people, that equals security. Well, this person never cheat. And that's a big pillar to have in your brain concerning this person. Oh, they're into me. Not knowing that infidelity and cheating usually don't have anything to do with how you look. It's the fabric of how this person is made and the integrity that they've built within themselves, which is a video we got coming up later.
Yeah, that's solid.
So I just hope this conversation helps people kind of consider, one, take a look at why you want to be chosen, why you want someone to marry you.
Let's do it.
Hold on. Rashonda says security is attractive. What, Rashonda, let me ask you, this is our online sister. What would make you feel secure enough in the dating phase to marry somebody?
How tall he was.
Because I'm thinking about that for myself, right?
Yeah.
What would make me feel secure enough? Is it because I think that, again, it's not just, I want to feel relief. There's a form of security that people want to feel. Does that come because somebody is so attractive? Does that come because they're willing to give you a title or they're willing to marry you? And that is enough security for you? Or is it based on how they treat you?
I think for me, while Rashonda is answering, I think for me, bro, I think I need to see what I need. It comes over time. Is this really who you are? And a lot of times, you know what I mean? Because of my past relationships, a lot of times people put on a persona that this is who they are. But after some months go by, it's like, that wasn't really you. This person you being right now is you. And I never saw this person before. So for me, longevity, like, are you going to stay even? Are you going to stay the same, throughout this however long it is? And for me, Janae stayed the same. Janae's been the same person she was 6 years ago. Has not changed. Has
Wild
not
work.
changed.
Wild work, man. Wild work. So Rashonda said for her, secure would be see he can provide, unselfish, and taller than me.
I knew Tall was gonna come in.
You know what's interesting for me as I was thinking about this question this week? What
What's
you got?
that? No. So see, he can provide because he can provide for others. It doesn't translate that he'll provide for you. That's what I do for my mama. That's what I do for my homeboys. That's what I do for my church. That don't always translate on. That's what I'm gonna do for my wife or my
Because
girl.
sometimes people are looking to get married just for the benefit and the relief. They're not thinking about the pouring into. And so while you see that a guy is doing all these things in society, it's good to identify what he wants to do. And again, for you, which is why premarital counseling is so nice, because it's like, hey, what do you think? And one of the questions they ask is, what do you believe the role of a husband is, and what do you believe the role of a wife is? And you got to fill it out in your own workbook, on your own worksheet, and then you guys come back together and discuss it, and then you discuss it with the counselors. You'd be surprised of what you believe, of what a person believe each role is supposed to do. That's why when I was dating, I used to ask people like, why do you want to be married? What do you believe the role of a wife is? What do you believe the role of a husband is? Because sometimes their job description don't fit your job description. You're like, oh no, no. And Mike knows this well. Like, you know, we've been talking about work and you interviewing for a job, and they saying, here's the job description. It's like, you didn't list it off 5 different jobs in this one job description. I'm good.
Yep.
And what's the pay? I'm good.
Yep. That's facts, bro. That is truth. So what were you saying? You said earlier in the week you were thinking about something.
Earlier in the week, I was thinking about like what is it for me, right? And I think I'm known to a lot of people as a solid dude, peaceful. And I think that sometimes that comes across to certain people as if I don't need a peaceful woman. That because I'm so grounded and peaceful, I would deal well. I would be a great benefit for a disorganized, crazy kind of woman, because I would balance her out. I don't like that theory.
Like a girl at lunch the other day, the waitress.
Bro, that was a whole situation.
God,
I appreciate her honesty though.
Yeah, for sure.
I think me and Mike were sitting there like, this is crazy.
Yeah, it was wild.
But when I think about what I need and, you know, and all these things, you know, that I would like versus what I would need.
Yeah.
It's not just someone who can acknowledge the peace that I bring, but knows how to create it also. You know what I'm saying to you? Like we both like these kind of environments, because if you are always the leveler of a chaotic person, at some point it feels less like a partnership and more like a responsibility. You know what I'm saying to you? And so I'm not shying away from responsibility, but again, that's not why I'm getting into marriage. One question I used to ask my friends often is like, what is it that I want to give to you that is no longer appropriate for me to give you as a friend? Because a lot of these things that some of these people want from one another, you guys can do that very well in a friendship. You don't need to get married for that. But what is it that I want to give to you? What's the way that I want to participate in your life that is no longer appropriate to just be your friend?
Yeah.
And when I get to that place of where this is how active and influential and how supportive I want to be in your life, that it exceeds even the best of friendship, I know that I'm ready. I that's the role. That's husband. Besides sex. Yeah.
That's solid.
Yeah. I want to be the person that helps you develop this, that helps you sustain this, and celebrates with you when you walk into this. You know what I'm saying? I had a video I posted years ago about I want to walk hand in hand with you to the funeral of your parents and your family, because and I want to be the one that, you know what I'm saying, that raises a child with you. I want to be the one who coaches you through a layoff at work. I want to be the one, you know what I'm saying, who comes at 3:00 in the morning to pick you up somewhere because your car broke down or something like that. I want to be the one. When I want to participate to that degree, that's not friend. That's not best friend.
Yeah, that's
your death mate.
Yeah, say that.
Whatever you in, I'm in. And if you dying, I'm coming because I'm dying with you. It don't make sense in this life without, you know what I'm saying to you. So, and I'm sure that may not come to the highest degree in dating, but if you're starting to feel that, having that conversation with this person and understanding that's where your heart is and how you want to participate, that might be a good indicator that you should petition for more and see where that person's at.
Man, you better turn off your DMs after that. They're like, ooh, girl.
You stupid, man. Let me move on to the next video. All right. So I think that was a good talk. So as we're having these conversations about why someone may choose you to get married, here's an interesting topic. Because we're talking about, I want you to be attracted to me so I can feel more secure about you being faithful to me. Let's have an honest conversation about how men stay faithful in committed relationships.
This for my fellas. How do y'all fight temptation from women when you're in a committed relationship?
We don't fight. It's not a fight. A vegan doesn't have to fight to avoid a steak, and someone on the carnivore diet doesn't have to fight to avoid salad. It's only a fight if it's what you really want.
This for my fellas. How do y'all fight temptation from women when you're in a committed relationship?
We don't fight. It's not a fight. A vegan doesn't have to fight to avoid a steak, and someone on the carnivore diet doesn't have to fight to avoid salad. It's only a fight if it's what you really want.
So I'm ready to unpack this, bro. What you think?
Yeah, no, I was going to initially say, you know, we understand that we're all flesh, and your flesh doesn't want to be with one person. So in that vein, it is a fight. You're fighting against your flesh. You know what I'm saying? Now, I think that when we bring in self-control into the picture, when we bring in, you know what I mean, any other demons or skeletons that this man or woman, because not only men cheat, but when we start bringing in all these other things and unpack these other things that this person is dealing with, it may be a fight, it may be a struggle, and not just with cheating. This person just may have a trouble just with discipline across the board. You see what I'm saying? Because what I've learned, bro, is when you start to discipline yourself in other areas of life, in certain areas of life, there's other areas that will come under submission as well, just because you're being a good steward in, you know, waking up at 5 a.m. every morning, going to the gym. You know what I mean? You're being a good steward in watching what you're watching online, or watching what you're watching, you know what I mean, on TV, or whatever the case may be. But to her question and to her point, I think the biggest thing for me, not that it has always worked, but I think the biggest thing for me is not allowing myself to even get in certain situations that I know could potentially be a hindrance or a threat or a temptation. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes as men, we have this ego of, I can handle it. And yeah, you can handle it until you can't. It's all fun and games until y'all in the hotel room and you wondering, like, how the hell did I get here? You got here because you let your guard down. And he's saying that there is no fight. And I don't know this brother from Adam, but those are the type of niggas that cheat because you think you got it all under control. And you do until you don't.
So let me tell you what I heard, because I'm looking at this from a different lens. When I hear him say, it's only a fight if it's what you want, I want to draw a clear line between what is a temptation and what am I hoping to be presented to me.
Okay.
Because if it's, you say, to address it from the idea of don't put myself in this situation to where X, Y, and Z could happen. I'm saying, why do I want it? Have I acknowledged that I want that? Have I acknowledged that I want that person?
Yeah.
If I'm doing my best to create routines to where I don't get in a compromising situation with that person, for me, I don't think it's deep enough. I have to ask myself, if I truly identify as a married man, like he was saying, a vegan don't struggle with eating meat. If I identify as a married man, I want to ask myself, why is there still a desire for another woman? Yes, I understand the benefit of creating scenarios around not putting yourself in compromised situations, but if it's in my heart, I believe that I will, until I address it, subconsciously create opportunities. And then I'm fighting against the opportunities that I've created. The Bible says that don't say when you're tempted of the Lord. It says that you are tempted by your own evil desires.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I'm looking at this conversation of, I have to address, why do I want someone besides my wife? That's what I take to my therapist. That's what I take to my brother. And that's why I start to unpack. Yes, again, create an environment where until you get your answer, until you get that breakthrough, you don't fall into a situation that's going to violate your marriage. But at some point, we got to ask ourselves, why do I want something besides what I said I was all about?
I think it is fairly simple. I think that sometimes people think that when they get married, that they're only going to ever have eyes for their wife. They're only going to ever find their wife attractive. They're only ever going to find their wife's body attractive, and all of these other things, when it's just not true. You know what I'm saying? There's not a marriage switch that when you get married, all of a sudden these blinders come on and you don't see anybody else. I see women every day that are very attractive, have very nice bodies. I think that, again, where the line is drawn is, how long am I letting that, oh, she's attractive, how long am I letting that linger? And I say putting myself in situations, meaning this, and you've seen it firsthand, and Janae has seen it firsthand. The chick that comes to the gym, am I and now when I see her come in the gym, am I going over near where she's working out? Why am I putting myself in that situation? And that's what I mean about that's what I mean about separating myself from certain situations. So even the glimpse, like, ooh, okay, I'm back. Or even the eye contact lock. There's been situations in the gym where I see her seeing me, so I'm gonna go over and kiss my wife. That's what I mean about putting myself in certain situations.
At the same time, as much as I get that, at the same time, I'm asking, do we as men require ourselves to answer ourselves when we ask, why do I want someone besides my wife? Now, I heard what you said about, we think that when we get married, we're not going to see anybody else attractive. There's a difference between seeing something and wanting something. And in the video, he said it's not a fight or a temptation unless you actually want it. And I think that that's the part we have to start addressing as men. Oh, that's beautiful. But if I now want it, I got to ask myself, how did it move from a like to a DM?
And that's what I'm saying. It's allowing that like, oh, I like what I see, to linger longer than it should.
So then let's stay there then. Let's stay there, because that's the part we're not unpacking. What happens in the linger that moves it from visually attractive to I want to taste, I want to touch?
I think what happens in the linger is I'll use me. I think what happens in the linger is, now it went from, oh, she's cute, to now you forget the face. Now we're moving down. Oh, dang, she got ass too. All right, sheesh. And then it's like, man, I wonder if it's soft as it looks. And that goes into, I wonder what it would feel like to touch it. And that goes into, you know what I mean? And it's down the rabbit hole we go. And it's simply because I didn't arrest my thoughts when I saw them going left.
Got it.
And I feel like when you're left with your own devices, potentially something bad could happen.
I agree with you. I think that, one, we should protect ourselves from being in any scenarios to where we could get into a physical, intimate situation with the woman that's not our wife. I think we should also work at not creating a psychological environment where I can start to like her more than I should.
Yes.
And so how do I do that part? Because if I can address it, and so I don't know if I am great at that from a standpoint if I had to compare myself to somebody, and this is just the way I think, right? I think that humans are just divine technology. The same way you can jailbreak a phone, I feel like we can jailbreak ourselves. We can hack ourselves. We got to dig a little bit deeper and understand, because if I'm using the same scenario, like I like what I like, right? But there's certain things that I want. I can see a woman with a nice body, and I'm a single man, and at some point I'm like, I wonder, what happens when I see a man with a nice body? Why doesn't my mind go the same way? Nice, it looks nice. Why don't I ever say, I wonder what his pecs feel like? I wonder what them shoulders taste like. Why don't I do that? Because I have to address the fact that there's something that I like and want and I'm into personally. And so at some point when I get married, or before I get married, I have to have a conversation with myself. Not saying I can turn it off, that I find other women attractive, but I think there are some components, if I take the time to have an internal conversation with myself and say, hey, this is what I'm touching now. This is what I'm eating now. This is where, I'm laying my head now. And this is what I want. And I can't find this anywhere else. Maybe that's part of the reason why I'm married, because my wife, if I'm a Christian, right, there's a covering and there's an anointing on the marriage. And maybe I haven't spent enough time with God, with the word, or with my wife to remember that nothing else in the world is going to taste, feel like this, because nothing else in the world has his anointing on it like this, has his covering on it like this. And I think that sometimes when we get married, we think that I can't turn certain things off, but I think there's someone who can help us with that. If we're open to the idea of it.
For sure. I think a lot of it also is being honest. Like you said, sometimes you have to be honest and say, this is something that I want, and then unpack that. Because if I'm sitting here acting like, or I'm sitting here lying to myself about being attractive to somebody else, I can never get to the root issue of it, and I can never fix that, or I can never change that, because I'm not being honest with myself. I'm pretending like, oh, she's not. I don't think about it. I don't. No.
And I think that's the thing, like getting down to the root issue of it. So sis brings up a good point. She said, but all this is theory, Dom. Mike is speaking practical experience. I am speaking theory, but I'm also speaking
for me.
Yes.
That's
and
not
so,
everybody's practical experience.
But I'm not only hearing Mike's experience right now to Rashonda. I'm also hearing the experience of men that I've coached, women that I've coached who've said the same thing. I still have eyes. And so I'm speaking in theory to their practical struggle or their practical approach and saying, hey, I understand how practical that is in the material and physical world, but do you know you can be equally as practical in your approach in your psychological world? Do you understand that there's an environment and a way that you can start to think about things that will be a great partner to you not putting your physical body in certain situations? That's all I'm saying. And it might be worth a shot. I think that sometimes we discount how great we could be because we've settled for the fact that, oh, I'm a man. Oh, I have eyes. Oh, it's just the way it is. I'm attracted. I think that sometimes we have to stop and ask myself, am I willing to see myself better than I've seen myself? Am I willing to see myself do better than I've ever believed I could do?
Yeah.
So I like to question what some call the cop-outs.
Yeah, that's solid, bro. That's solid. That's solid. That's solid. And for some guys, they don't have to go down that road because they can see a woman, and married men, they can see a woman and not have no thoughts, no issues. But I'm coming from somebody that has, and again, I agree with your point as far as the subconscious and doing better and all of that. But I'm coming from a different background when it pertains to women, and we'll leave it there. Anybody that has watched the podcast for any amount of time kind of knows my backstory and all of that other stuff. But I think that I agree with you in what you're saying, that I feel like it can be done. And I feel like, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I think a part of me feels like if it's not an issue, does it really matter? And I mean, if looking and not worrying about a linger, if that's not an issue, does it matter? So I think that, is it a matter of getting to the point to where it doesn't matter? Or is it a matter of it never having an issue and never becoming an issue to begin with? You see what I'm saying?
I think that's why I said that if you're willing to have a conversation, you take it to a therapist.
Yeah.
Because they can help you dig to your first encounter with cheating.
Yeah.
And it may not even have anything to do with a relationship. It may have to do with a kickball team and how somebody didn't choose you and you wanted to make sure that they knew that you were the best person and they overlooked you. Or it might have been you cheating on the test because you didn't believe that you could have got an A on your own. Like when you go to therapy, they don't deal with, oh, you know what I'm saying, you cheated in your marriage. They go to, when did you first learn to cheat? Why? What was your first why for ever cheating that you can remember? That's what I mean by a psychological approach, because that's where the excuses start. You're using the same, not you, but some men are using the same excuse. They're using the same excuse they had at 6 years old, just rephrasing the words. It's the same excuse you used when you were 6. So why you cheated?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that your approach is great. I think that there's a possibly, like she said, a theory, a more permanent approach. If we can cut it at the root.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I want to make sure we can continue to reiterate, this is not just men, it's women as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. For sure.
And I think that
that's good, bro.
If you're concerned about your partner cheating on you or you cheating on your partner, say something. I think that sometimes it's good for you to be like, yo, I love you. And I'm feeling this overwhelming feeling to step out, to violate trust. And hopefully you marry somebody that you can have that conversation with.
I was gonna say that's a hell of a conversation. And I hope that
sometimes somebody would treat that like you actually did it already.
That's why your choice and who you marry really matters. Sheesh.
So I think to sum it up, man, ask yourself, why do I want what I want? Yeah. So let's put up this video real quick. We got time. We got about half an hour. Let's put up this video about side chicks. There's this psychology behind side chicks that I think will spark a great conversation after the one we just had.
Why do men have side chicks? This is the truth men won't admit, and women don't understand. It isn't because he stopped loving you, and it isn't because he found someone better. Biologically, he isn't looking for a new woman. He is looking for a lost version of himself. You see, marriage and fatherhood turn men into machines, providers, problem solvers, quiet warriors buried under duty and expectation. Somewhere in that grind, the hunter dies. The part of him that felt wild and desired fades away. Enter the side chick. She is not competition. She is a mirror. When he looks at her, he doesn't see her. He sees the reflection of the man he used to be. She doesn't give him love. She gives him oxygen. She makes him feel powerful again, free from the weight of being responsible. It is the most addictive drug on earth. Validated ego. He wants the stability of the wife and the thrill of the mistress because he is too weak to accept who he has become. But it is a delusion. Side chicks are symbolic. Men who cheat aren't running towards another woman. They are running away from the tired man in the mirror. Instead of fixing what broke inside them, they look for a distraction. It's a tragic chase because you cannot cheat your way back to your youth.
You hear my struggle with this?
What is your struggle?
You can't cheat your way back to your youth. It's not that he doesn't love you, but that underneath the weight and the responsibility of a husband, he's lost himself. Did he not consider the cost of the title?
Yeah. I think so. That's funny you said it. I think that a lot of guys, they do consider the cost of the title, and they are ready in that moment, but they don't understand exactly, and nobody can understand exactly what it'll take, especially, you know what I mean, when she's talking about getting older, and then, you know, older guy to have this young, attractive woman coming up to him, and how that'll make them feel, and, you know, all of these other things. We're thinking that, you know, I'm sturdy right now, and I'm ready for this right now. And I'm gonna make, and this is gonna be the best marriage that I've ever had. Not thinking of any kind of thing that may come down the line. Even with the question that you just asked, you know what I mean? Like it would be naive of me to think. Let's just talk about the gym. It'll be naive of me to think that I'll be able to leg press 1,000 pounds when I turn 65, 75 years old. It'll be naive of me to think that. But a lot of guys go through and they get married thinking that, this will be a cakewalk. I love my wife. I only got eyes for my wife. This is going to be great. And then you start feeling your mortality. Then you start feeling your age. Then you start feeling, you know, even in the gym, certain shortcomings that, damn, I didn't see that before. Damn, my legs are getting smaller. Oh, shoot, I didn't see that. Or I've been working on legs so much, now my shoulders are getting. And then some woman comes up to you and she says, oh, nice shoulders. Oh, really? You think, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, these are how, like what the video is talking about, these are how things can creep in again. So it just goes to, and this is outside of, let's go back to the side chick. This is outside of your wife. Like the video said, this don't have nothing to do with, I don't love my wife no more. This don't have nothing to do with, I'm not getting what I should be getting at home. Because a lot of times women think that men cheat or men step out because it's something that they're not getting at home. That's not necessarily true. Sometimes it's an internal shit that this man is dealing with that the side chick, the wife, and nobody else can fix but him and God. You see what I'm saying?
So I want to go back to your first point.
Yeah.
About the gym and what the experience is going to be like. And you said something about, you know, it's going to be the greatest marriage ever. I think the issue is that people are trying to guarantee an outcome when all you can guarantee is your effort.
1,000%, brother.
I don't know where you think you can stand and say this is going to be the best marriage ever, but you can stand and say, I'm going to be the best husband I can be. I don't know why people go to the gym and say, I'm about to do X, Y, and Z in this gym today. Like the gym is just going to succumb to whatever your mantra is, instead of just saying, I'm about to go in here and give my all. And what will come from that will come from that. Yeah. I think that's where people walk into, again, the cost associated to what I have to contribute, not what she has to contribute. Yeah. What you guys collectively contribute is what's going to make the marriage. So for you to say it's going to be the best marriage ever is you assuming that she's going to have her best day every day and contribute her 100%. You don't know that. All you know is when you get up in the morning, what you tell yourself in the mirror, I'm going to do my best today. She's not acting right. I'm going to do my best in this moment. This is not going the way I wanted to. I'm going to do my best. And I think that's where you start to take pride in what you do as a husband. That's where you start to say, golly, like, I like how I'm showing up. Because every time we try, it's almost like gambling. You're trying to say, oh, this horse is going to win this race, and I'm about to bet my whole marriage on it. You gambling. You don't have to gamble. Just bet on what's for sure. And the only thing that's for sure is what you can control. And the only thing you can control is your own effort.
Agreed.
So I think that, again, if we can go into the rest of the conversation, but as a foundation, me saying we're gonna have a what is it called? A cheat-free marriage. That's what you would like to have, but you don't know what she's gonna do. And this is me speaking from, oh, you know what I'm saying? This is what I hope. This is how I was taught. I lived in Texas. He said, I remember the man who ran the men's group. He said, I don't think you understand what marriage is, Donovan. So he gave me a book called Abraham's Sons. And he said, he told me marriage is when you choose to devote your life to a woman, not knowing if she'll ever appreciate it, reciprocate it, or acknowledge it. He said, when you meet a woman, that you're willing to love with no guarantee if she'll reciprocate it, appreciate it, or acknowledge it, you should marry her. Because that's what the day-to-day work of marriage is going to require of you. It's not about being motivated because you see her responding to your effort a certain way. It is a personal commitment that you are making to a person, not knowing what they'll ever do about it, if they'll ever say thank you, if they're ever appreciate it. No matter how appreciative they can be in a dating phase, it can change when they get married. Are you still going to be that same man that brings 100 or the best he can every day?
Agreed.
And you're in it. So you can tell me if I'm off, because you can look at where you contributed in your effort and say, this is all I really ever had control over.
Nah. You're spot on, bro. You're spot on. Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
So elaborate on this idea about a man feeling the weight and the responsibility of a husband and wanting to find his younger self again, or wanting to find this. Speak on that part.
I feel like some men go out and get the Corvette at 65. Some men, you know what I mean? Some men start taking steroids and going to the gym. You know, some men get these young side chicks or side chicks in general. You know what I'm saying? But again, my point of saying all of that was I was just agreeing with the AI in the video. It doesn't have anything to do with the woman. Sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with their partner. This is an internal thing that this man needs to address.
Would you say sometimes or all the times?
I would say sometimes, because sometimes it is that man just tired of the same old vagina and I want to go get some strange. Sometimes it has nothing to do with nothing but that.
Not some strange.
No, but remember we had a viewer the other week and he was talking about, you know what I mean? He's been with his partner for so many years and it doesn't feel as good as it used to feel, for lack of better words. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that is real. And again, if you're not, like you said in the beginning, if you haven't made a decision to be the best partner you could be, you can fall into things like side chicks. You can fall into things like, you know what I mean, midlife crisis and all these other things.
I was about to say that we make up and believe that are irreversible. I understand biology is proven a lot of things about ourselves, but is it forever stuck that way? It's like somebody saying, I'm not getting the results I want and I need to switch gyms. Well, my mentor told me that your body can only be as good as the equipment at your gym. So if your gym is trashed, then your body could potentially be trashed, but it might be a good idea to look into your supplements first in your routine. Are you getting your 8 hours of sleep? Are you getting your hydration? Yeah. Are you getting your food? Because the results that you're looking for may not be coming because of that, because of the environment that you're in. It may be because of the lack of your routine. Oh my God. Or churches, golly. Yep.
Or churches is real.
So I want to talk a little bit more about this whole side chick piece, because I know that, you know, we've had female audience members often question like, but why? And we've talked about it. We've talked about how after a husband sees his wife has their baby, that he can see her more.
That was good.
He can see her more in a motherly way. Pure, innocent. I don't want to do nasty things with her, but I still want to do nasty things. But this is a mother of my child now. Like, his psychology can change, you know what I'm saying, and go that direction. Also, it can be that you guys are not spending time doing intimacy that is non-physical. The bond is not strong. You know what I'm saying to you? So imagine how you first created this strong desire for her. It was honestly probably time spent with her, or time thinking about her. But when you get into a marriage and you guys both prioritize other things, like, oh, we're trying to build this empire, build this legacy. I got to work overtime to make sure I have all these bills and stuff paid. Your mental occupation is now towards managing, when you still need to spend time fantasizing about your partner, about your spouse.
That's really
and
good,
your
man.
physical time is spent being like I'm investing my physical effort and body into the work and into the to-do list that my wife keeps creating. So when it's time to physically be with her, I'm tired. So what do you think is going to happen to the attraction if you're not fantasizing about your wife and not physically engaging with your wife? What kind of legs does attraction have to stand on when, if you look back to dating, that's exactly what it was built on: time spent
That's
with
exactly
and
it.
time spent thinking about.
Yeah, that's good, man. And it's something to say about in marriage about prioritizing those things like intimacy, prioritizing those things like the fantasizing and all those other things. And when I say intimacy, it's not always about sexual intercourse. In fact, that's not even what I was talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just taking time, setting aside time, whether it's conversation, whether it's physical intimacy, whether it's we actually had a video last week about the different types of intimacy, you know what I mean, that should be explored and expressed. Praying together is a form of intimacy.
Huge.
You know what I'm saying? Watching church together, form of intimacy. You know what I mean? Anything that can connect you and bring you closer to each other, and then of course bringing you closer to God. Again, if you're a believer, then we know that God is the one covering your marriage. So why not want to get closer to that source together?
When God is the glue.
Come on,
you know what I'm
brother.
saying? I put that in the book before the I do. It's the God glue. I forgot
Yeah,
what chapter
man.
I wrote it in, but that if you're not investing together in your relationship with God, which is the glue, some of the most non-critical situations can have you guys split.
Yep.
Because you don't have that basic foundation of glue there to say, no, this is what the word of God said about our situation. Remember, we had this revelation together when God spoke to both of us. Remember, we were in worship the other morning together, and that glue is there.
Yeah.
God will speak to you about your partner that he bound you to on how to go apologize, or how to make a better explanation, or how to get up earlier and make that breakfast, or how to sit outside on the porch so they can see you, you know what I'm saying, when they drive up, how to pull up to their job one day, like all these different kind of things. But if we're so busy thinking that the management of the marriage is fully my responsibility and that God is not going to contribute to the management of the marriage in any regard, you trying to do God's stuff in your marriage when all he needs you to do is love your wife as Christ loved the church.
And it's so interesting when you start to try to do God stuff. This is women and men. When you start to try to make your marriage work, when you start to, I don't know why my husband's doing this. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this. Oh, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try to do that. When you start to try to do stuff, then you start getting frustrated. And who do you take your frustrations out on? That your marriage is not working? Your damn partner. So you mad because you yourself have been trying to do all the things that you should be allowing God to do, and now you take all your frustrations about you doing stuff you're not supposed to be doing out on your partner. Then that makes your partner frustrated and upset. Now they trying to do stuff, so nobody's involving God, nobody's praying about it, nobody's coming together and saying, "Hey, neither one of us have any control over this right now. Let's give all of this stuff to Him, and let's try to get back to, where we were, or even better." You know what I'm saying? But I feel like if we sometimes in life in general, if we get out of our own way and just allow God to do his thing, if we stop stressing and worrying about, oh, I haven't done this, or I haven't been having sex with my partner, or he hasn't been treating me the same, pray about it. So communicate. Number one, pray about it and communicate about this stuff. Don't just keep it in, or I don't want to rock the boat, or you know what I mean? I feel like if I say something, they'll feel like I'm trying to, man. I think I was telling Janae this, or it might have been you today, about I don't understand, now that I'm in the type of relationship where we communicate, I don't understand how I've ever did any relationship without communication. I don't understand how they work for more than a month.
I think the fact of the matter is that they didn't, and you wasn't in one. I think that's trying to call it cake. It's a cake I'm trying to cook a cake without flour, and whatever comes out of the oven, you call it a cake, but it's not. And I think that's the fact that people don't know what it's supposed to look like. And so they're calling things a marriage that ain't a marriage. And nobody taught them how to verify it or check the ingredients.
Shit, you got to look at the back of that bottle. What is in here?
So we got about 7 minutes. I got 2 videos I want to get through. The next we could probably spend like 3 to 5 minutes on because it ties into this, and then I want to end with that one that you put in the chat because that was really good. So check this out, ladies and gentlemen.
Even if I am to marry a woman today, it will not be a woman according to what gratifies my flesh. It will be to one that secures my calling in God. I was speaking to one of the 2 sons of the king in one other country. They told me, see, if you need a wife, come here. All of our sisters are princesses. Take one of them. Jealousy this side, just all the way from this side here. If I take the offer, my life will be secure financially. But what I don't need is my finances to be secure. I need my calling to be secure. So I don't care about who your family is. I don't care how good your voice is. I don't care how beautiful you are. I care, do you protect my calling?
Does she know how to protect your calling? When you're looking for a wife and the beauty is there and the family connections are there and she comes from wealth or she has all these other great attributes. But when it comes to what God has called you to do in this life, does she know how to help you secure that? Because for a believer and a man of God, everything in life is hinged on your alignment with your calling.
So I agree, and I like that question, but I think that there's something. First of all, I know the answer, but for the sake of conversation, are we saying that men are the only ones that can have callings from God?
Dang. This nigga took a sharp left. I'm not saying that. I can say I'm not saying that, and I'm also saying I've never studied it.
Okay. That's pretty much the answer I thought. So, because it made me wonder and think, because what if she has a calling from God too? Are we then supposed to help each other, or you help me with mine, and then if there's any room when we finish with mine, then I'll pour into you a little bit.
That's why I love having these conversations with Mike, because you sometimes you will hear something and go in a whole different direction. I'm like, I did not hear that, but golly. Okay.
And I'm only saying that, bro, because as you know, me and Janae have a similar calling as far as outreach and young adults and things like that. So our callings just happen to be aligned. Just happen to be. God brought us together, I think, because our callings were similar. But I still feel like if we had separate, God called her to be a missionary, God called me to do this over here. I still feel like as a partnership, as a husband and wife, we should do what we can to strengthen, help, get behind each other's callings. You know what I mean? As opposed to, hey, this is my calling. You need to get on board. Forget about what God told you to do. Get on board with what I got going on.
Okay, fair enough. Sindria said you both will complement each other and will become complete as one. I think that equally yoked has a lot of branches. And I think that it's not just about believing in the same God. I think that one of the practical ways I approached this conversation that was brought to me was, do you guys want to live the same kind of life?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying to you? Because ultimately people are aiming for a specific kind of life, whether how they choose their job, their spouse. And if you're saying, I want a life of a lot of travel, and you marry somebody that's a homebody and that says, I want to spend a lot of time at the home that I'm paying for, that outside of calling, that's just how I want my life to be. Do you then say, well, then let's compromise and let's travel 6 months out of the year? And the other person's like, I don't want to do that. You have these conversations prior to marriage.
There we go. Yep.
And sometimes people are like, well, we're such a good match. And if you love this person, then you guys make it work. That is a religion in itself.
Come on, man.
That you have to make sure that your partner has ascribed to, because I think that and I've seen it, not think it, I've seen it in different relationships. People say, well, if you loved me, you would. That is that's a religion within itself. And if I am not from that religion, then that's not going to make a lot of sense to me. And you're going to be hurt because that's the culture you grew up in or the one you created for yourself. And the interesting thing about it is that you could turn it back on yourself, because if you love them, then you would too. So, but beside the point, talk to the men in the audience who are not married. When it comes to choosing a wife, why is it important to see or know if she can secure your calling, if she will be an asset to the security of your calling?
So, when I hear, so coming from a believer's standpoint, when I hear calling, I'm thinking, God has shown me that this is what he has designed for my life, and this is the path that I should take. So with what Janae has been for me, and I'm talking about picking, I think what Janae has been for me is what's the best way I can say this, is support. As a man who is big on doing following the path that God has me following as far as what I'm supposed to do with my life, I think that there's times where being human, you can get weary, you can get sidetracked, you can forget things, you can get overwhelmed. There's all these things that can happen. Sometimes people think that if it's a calling from God, it's going to be easy. Not necessarily. And when you're picking a woman, a wife to be with, it's so important that she's in tune and aware, and hey babe, don't forget, you missed this, or you're bouncing off ideas off of this, your most trusted adversary, if you will. You know what I mean? This is the person you trust. You go to sleep with this person. You trust this person with your life, your ideas, your calling. So once we get married, I have to feel safe in being able to share what God has shown me, and also that you'll treat it the exact same way that I'm treating it. You see what I'm saying? Because if you're careless with it, if you're, haphazard with it, and not taking it as serious as I take it, that means that you become a liability in this walk that I'm on. I can't partner with no damn liability. I don't want to. That's just like in business across the board. I don't know anybody that would say that don't look like a good decision to partner with you, but I'm gonna do it anyway. No, same thing with marriage. Like it has to be some sort of alignment. It has to be some sort of, we're on the same page, so that we can push this thing together, to push this thing forward together. If there's a whole bunch of bickering, whole bunch of arguing, whole bunch of, oh, I think you should do it like that, and I'm trying to tell you this is the way God is telling me to do it, but you're saying that, well, no, it'll be better. Okay, well, that don't seem like we on one accord. And that one accord and that unity and that harmony is important in marriage and when we're talking about calling.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuances in there. Wanting what you want is not your calling.
Right.
Wanting what God has purpose for you to do in this life is your calling, what he's called you to do, right? At the same time, learning God's voice is part of building a relationship with him. So sometimes you might get it wrong, and you need someone that can have patience with you, but also someone who will go to the word to help you to stay on course, right? And I think that when I hear this video, the securing my calling, the biggest reason, and I didn't get a chance to see this whole sermon that he preached, but the biggest reason I see there is because in Western culture, there is that big happy wife, happy life thing. And I think that some women are willing to push for what they want at the expense of their husband's calling.
Woo.
And so when he's saying, like he's clearly a pastor or a preacher of sorts, and when the woman that he's with understands that that's what God has called him to do, And if they do any research on the life of a pastor or a life of a preacher, are you okay with sacrificing some of your wants? Because, you know what I'm saying, this is what he's been called to. Or are you of the cloth that your wife still comes before the church that you may pastor? Or are you under the impression that there has to be a moment by moment prayer balancing between the two? And I think that is, I don't think that securing means you always protect. I think that securing means that it's your heart to protect the calling of your person.
That's good. I like
you
that.
You may mess up every now and then, but it's your heart to make sure that they stay aligned with what God has called them to do in this generation. Even if that means like, I'm watching the kids for 6 months while you go on a mission trip.
Because, like I said, nobody said calling was going to be easy, and I feel like it is doable for people to have separate, callings that may cause them to be on opposite ends of the spectrum and still be married and still be fulfilled. But that's what's so beautiful about God. If we're saying that God has called us to this place, and then we're also saying that God has called us together, that He has the plan worked out. You just got to seek Him for the plan. You may not be able to see it off top, but if you're saying God has brought this union together, God has given me this calling. She's saying God has given me this calling, but we can't see how we're going to manage a marriage and a family with all of what our callings been so far apart. God did.
Yeah.
So just come to Him.
And I think that's what it comes down to. If we go back to an earlier conversation we had on the podcast with certain people getting married because they want certain pleasures and certain relief, and they think that that's the place where they're supposed to get them. Other people are getting married because they believe that there's a part of their purpose that can't be fulfilled until they're married and they have their purpose mate. Right. And so there's a different kind of work associated after being married. And so, knowing where the person you're dating, knowing where their head is concerning what they believe marriage is going to require of them is a great conversation to have ahead of time, so that you'll know. I want to know what you believe you're signing up for. And I want you to know what I believe I'm signing up for. And I think that conversation is sometimes the greatest revelator of compatibility versus us like in the same movies and like in the same vacation spots.
Bro. Yeah. And I'm glad you said that because when we talk about marriage, the conversation has to get deeper than surface level stuff. It's good to know, I'm not saying it's bad. It's good to know surface level stuff about your partner, but when we're talking about getting married, you got to know the deeper parts of your partner to see if you can partner with that person.
Yep.
Because like you said, you may want to travel 200 days out of the year. That may not be your partner's bag at all. So as much as I love you and as much as I think that, we should be together, we may not be able to partner.
Ah, man, this is good. It's 10:07. You want to run your video? You want to do it next week?
We can do like we used to do, run the video, and then we'll tackle it next Sunday.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a little preview of what we're going to have. Tonight's conversation was rich. Let me just say that off jump.
Nigga, was it?
Incredibly rich. And I love when you guys get to see when me and Mike have so different views on things and how we communicate through it and learn from one another. I think a lot of people can benefit from seeing that in real time, so they can take it back to their relationship with their family and with their friends and their, to say, hey, we can discuss this in a healthy way. And even if we don't come to an agreement, it was still a great discussion. But this is a video we're going to have in next week's podcast.
The best love you can give someone is learning how they want to be loved. I feel like so often we give the way that we want to feel back, but it's not supposed to work like that because there are no two people on this earth who are the same, and that goes for affection. You can't project your feelings and then expect this connection because, listen, you might find love in the big moments, the birthdays, the anniversary, but they might find love when you remember what ratio of milk to pour in their coffee, and they might find love in the simplicity of you showing up on time. If you're going to give someone love, put it in a place that they can find. Don't just give the love that you want to receive. Notice what kind of love that they need.
That's going to be a great conversation, ladies and gentlemen. So I think you should go ahead and mark your calendars, set your timers. We will be back next Sunday, 8 p.m. Pacific, to have another 2-hour discussion about some of these more important relationship topics that you can relate to. At the end of every podcast, we'd like to leave you guys with a resource, and that resource is Suicide and Crisis Hotline number. It has changed to 988. It's been that way for about a year or so now, or 2 years. We want you guys to screenshot this and save it. It's a great resource. I had a coworker of mine use it recently. Anybody you know who's struggling with life, not only can they get you connected to a support group or a therapist, the person you'll get on the phone is a counselor. You can, if you just need somebody to talk to, and you just want to get on the phone and talk to somebody, you're lonely or you're afraid or you're confused, you want to just talk to somebody that maybe you just need them to listen, you can call this number. That's what they have their counselors on the hotline for. Yeah, reach out, save this number. Maybe something we said tonight kind of got under your skin and you want to talk about, why do I want what I want? Or, you know what I'm saying, how do I respond when my partner is not really attracted to me like they used to be, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? So even if you have children that are struggling with suicidal thoughts, reach out to this number. You can get the help.
That's solid, bro. Dang, this was a good ass show.
I would have to concur with that, my good sir. Man, how you feeling, bro? You feel like praying us out?
Yeah, I'll take it. Father, I just want to first thank you for this opportunity to have this platform and to share with one another in hopes that it reaches other people and they can learn, grow from this podcast, Lord. I just thank you as we go out into the world, to our jobs, school, whatever we're doing throughout the week, Lord, that you just send your angels of protection, protect our bodies, protect our hearts, and protect our spirits, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Solid. A to the man.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you wonderful people next week.
2 Chainz.
Can we talk for a minute? Come on and talk to me, baby. I wanna know your name. Come on and talk to me, baby.
Come and talk to me. I really wanna meet you, girl. I really wanna know your name.
Maybe this will help.